What's up, everybody? It's Jacob Deaton, and I'm back again with another episode of Southern Wedding Professionals. And today I have the privilege to sit down with Vines Mansion's Pam Wood. That was kind of hard to say. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great. I got up this morning and I had a cup of coffee and I realized that I needed two, so I made another one.
Yeah, one of those days.
It's one of those days. I had a really late night last night just working on a whole bunch of stuff, and I looked up and it was like 2 a.m, and I never stay up that late anymore, especially in COVID times. I'm like such a methodical sleeper, but I guess I was just in the mode last night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
It happens. So tell me, Pam, how are you doing? What's the latest in your world?
I'm doing good, and I mean, we're just trying to get our business going again after this COVID, like you say, and get moving with it.
Right. So since you brought up COVID, let's talk about that a little bit. And the COVID situation, as far as for businesses, I've seen from my interviews so far that it's had varying effects on people. So some people are like, well, hasn't really bothered me too much. And then some people, it's like totally wiped out their business. Now, being that Vines Mansion is an actual venue for probably wedding and corporate events and stuff, which you're going to give me the backstory on that in just a second. How's it been for you? Like, give me like a brief overview.
Well, like you say, we're an event venue here, and luckily I've stayed healthy through it all, and my family has too. But with our venue here, yes, it's hit us hard. And I've heard, same as you said, that there are some companies that have done excellent, landscapers, things like that have just, I mean, their business is booming. Now with us, because of having groups together, we've had a hard time. It's just starting to really come back. It started coming back about a month ago, and then the governor made another announcement about COVID hitting again. And so it's kind of slowed down, but now we're starting to get back into it. So hopefully we'll get some. We've done a lot of smaller, like ceremonies and stuff, under 20 people, but as you probably know, that ain't much income.
Yeah.
That's what keeps you going.
Right. I feel like it's just adapt and overcome mode. But before we get too far into all this, because I'm sure we'll probably touch back on it later, give us a little history, a little background on you. Give us a little history and background on Vines Mansion.
Okay. I'm actually an accountant, and that's how I started off with this business. I have 3 sons and a granddaughter that I love to spend time with. And then I work here at Vines Mansion, which I've been with them for about 26 years now together.
Wow.
And we used to have some other properties also, but this is a smaller business that's family owned. And I enjoy what I do. So I kind of, with a smaller company, you pick up and do different jobs and different things.
Sure. So what is your official title with Vines Mansion?
General manager.
Okay, you're the general. You are the boss.
Yeah, I guess that's what you'd say.
The buck stops with you.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You said 26 years?
Yes.
It's so hard to find anybody who's done anything for 26 years anymore, it seems like.
Yeah, that's true.
You're kind of I feel like so many people in the industry sort of jump from place to place as, as time moves on. And it seems like it's a lot more of a common thing for people to jump places or, jump venues to manage or jump between this company and that company. And it's, a 26-year tenure is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. Like you said, especially in this industry, but.
Right. I got to tell you, that's, pretty impressive. So tell me, since you have, 26 years at this one venue, you're going to have a lot to say. Tell me about the venue. Tell me what makes it special. Tell me why people love it so much.
We are kind of exclusive in a lot of ways, especially in Gwinnett County, which is where we're located. The
Mm-hmm.
property is actually owned by Gwinnett County, and we have it separated. The back half is actually a Gwinnett County park. And then the house and the mansion sits on about 6 to 8 acres. And we maintain everything on our side. But anybody who books with us has exclusive rights to go out to the park for pictures, mostly the weddings and stuff. They love going back there because there's a huge lake back there, and there's several different gardens. There's rose garden, there's an Asian garden, and so it is a beautiful property. And it's very quiet area, so it's a passive park too. So there's no ball fields or playgrounds or anything like that. And then our mansion, we have several different areas that people can do, and inside as well as outside. So of course, most people that come here are wanting something to do outside as well as using the house.
Sure. I mean, I can imagine with that sort of exclusivity, like on the entire property, being able to sort of pick your poison, so to speak, like where you'd like to set up and do different things, makes for a really interesting time, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that sounds really cool. I mean, is it like pretty well secluded as far as the property is concerned, like with like natural like trees and stuff to where people can't really see in from any particular, you know, is it pretty exclusive like that on the 5 or 6 acres that you have?
We sit back way off the street and stuff, and there's a gate that goes around the front with a brick wall.
Ah,
So, I mean, over the years, the last 20 years and stuff, that it's been built up around us. Originally, when I started here, across the street was just woods and things like that. But now there are a lot of neighborhoods. But when you're on our property, you really can't hear, you know, because we do sit back and kind of in the middle of all the land.
right. That I always find that that's my favorite part of being at a venue, I think, is that if that venue has sort of that exclusive feel or you know, that feeling of just being out in another world and you can't hear the rest of the world working, you know,
Yeah.
it sort of like really brings everything together when you're trying to celebrate someone's marriage, you know, because you feel like you're on an island or something, right?
Right. Yep. And it is. And I mean, even with like corporate events or other events, it's kind of nice because, you know, it is, like you say, quiet, but yet we have a huge terrace that you can go out, and it has the view of the back with the lake and some of the gardens and all.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a gorgeous property. Now, how old is this building? Because you said well, you've been here for
It,
26 years, so it's at least that old.
yeah, it was built in the early 80s, and
Okay.
it actually used to be a residence. And now it's a business.
Right. So it was actually a mansion, I guess, prior to it being a private event space, I guess.
Yes, I think there's been a lot of stuff added on to it. I know
Mhm.
we've added a little bit, but I guess it was donated to Gwinnett County, is what the history of it is, after the residents left. But the
Mm,
gentleman who owned it loved gardens. And so that's why he had all the property and built the several different kinds of gardens.
right.
And he donated it to the county. And the county ran it as a restaurant and special event facility for about 5 years.
Mm.
And then our company came in and started running it.
That's amazing. So you mentioned like just for a second, just for people to gain perspective here on the podcast, like you mentioned that there were other properties that this particular company owns. Tell us about what is the name of this company?
This is our legal name is Georgia Fine Restaurants, and then DBA is Vines Mansion.
Uh-huh.
But we used to own Little Gardens Restaurant and special event facility over in Lilburn.
Uh-huh.
And then we also ran the Houston Mill down at Emory for a couple of years also. But
Okay.
now we just have this one property.
So now you're back down to just this particular property and no
Right,
other. Right. Got it.
right.
That's So cool. And you've been through the whole history of this, right? I mean, 26 years. How
Yeah,
long was this particular company going before you jumped in?
it was about 10 years, more than that. So,
Okay. So
yep, been
you're
here a
pretty
long
much
time.
you're pretty much a founder,
Yeah,
which is cool. I mean, it's just so rare to find somebody that has been doing, working for the same company or anything like, 26 years. I just think that's amazing.
yeah,
Um,
it's been interesting. And you see a lot of changes and all too in the industry.
right. Yeah. Tell me about what that's a great pivot point. Tell me about the changes that you've seen. Tell me about the changes that you maybe predict with all of this pandemic stuff going
That I wish I could predict. But
on.
in the past, I mean, you used to have like your regular wedding months and months that were big bookers and stuff like that, where the people were really interested. Now it's kind of, mixed match of everything. Um, I wouldn't say that there's one particular month anymore that is a big wedding season as far as that goes. Before, it was always, you know, in June and May would be your biggest months. Now you pretty much have from April through October, and even now you're getting a lot more November and December weddings.
Hmm.
So just because of decorations and things like that.
Right.
But, and then you have the other events, corporate events, birthdays and stuff like that, that always fill in the other months. These days, though, it's just getting married. They don't really have a particular, I mean, you still have heavier months, but not
Sure.
like it used to be.
Right. So with the changes that's happened over the years, I mean, and the broadening out of the seasons, from, it being very hyper focused on a couple of months a year to now
Mhm.
being spread out throughout the year. Does the venue how does it operate price wise? Is it just, if you're going to be here, this is the price, or is there preferred pricing for, say, Saturdays versus Sundays or a Tuesday?
Yeah, there's price differences. Saturday evenings are prime time.
Sure.
And then Saturday afternoons, then it usually goes to Sundays and then Fridays. And then Monday through Thursdays really cheap. So, that's what I always tell the budget friendly brides that are real sticklers on their budget and stuff is Monday through Thursdays. And of course, most of those are a little bit smaller. And even when they're not, anybody who's going to come to your wedding is really going to come no matter when you have it. So as
Right.
far as saving money, Monday through Thursdays are a lot cheaper.
Right. Do you feel like you get a lot of Monday through Thursday weddings? I mean, you might get, if you've not gotten a lot now, you might get some on this COVID thing whenever all the dates start overlapping for reschedules and stuff. But have you guys had a history with Monday through Thursday weddings?
Yes, the last couple of years, especially Mondays and Thursdays, are very, very popular.
That is
Um,
interesting.
and we've actually had quite a few, Tuesday and Wednesday ones too. But most of those, like especially the Tuesday and Wednesdays, are smaller ones.
Hmm.
But I mean, we do. And like you said, with COVID, because we allowed all the brides to move out their dates from this year to next year. Of course, we've lost those dates of being rebooked for new events. So people are filling in more weekdays now too.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's been a very common conversation that I've had with people over the last month or so, in this podcast, talking about the real challenges of handling, more than one client that wants the same day that's rescheduling versus, someone had already had the day from previously booked and then now they want to reschedule on that day. And it's like, it's impossible. I want to say that on your website, which I'll link in the descriptions for the podcast, but for everybody to check out, because you got to see this property. It's absolutely beautiful. I think it mentioned that you guys only have one event per allotted time, right?
For a lot of times, yes. We'll do two events in a day, but one's like early morning and then
Right.
the evening one.
Have
But
you Or
the moment. You only do one at a time.
okay, yeah, sure. So, speaking to that, have you guys seen that trend of like all the brunch weddings that are sort of happening now? Have you
Yes.
guys, have seen a little bit of that? That's cool.
Yes. Yeah. We've seen
I,
quite
I
a
think that's
bit.
a fantastic idea.
Well, I do too. I think the brunch ones are really neat, especially for those people who are coming from out of town or something like that too. And that are budget friendly too, because a lot of them that are doing the brunch ones don't necessarily need all the DJ or the alcohol as much, things like that.
Right. Let's talk about some of the your space as far as how it's set up for people that are potentially interested in having entertainment at their wedding or their corporate event, or just private party in general. Do you guys mostly do DJs, or is it a thing where you guys also do like other types of live entertainment?
We do both. We allow the bride and groom or the corporate group. We have a list of preferred vendors, but they can bring in whoever they want as far as DJs and music go. So we
Sure.
get a lot of variety from bands to DJs to things like that.
Right. That's cool. Everybody always has like a slightly different spin on it, and sometimes you never know what people approve. Basically, like sometimes they have sound ordinances and stuff like that. So it's always just nice to let the listeners know just a smidge about that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, I feel like just the industry itself is evolving so quickly. I feel like this COVID situation just basically pushed the pedal down, you know, and fast forwarded us 20 years. And so we're having to deal with all of these issues that we maybe thought it would become a thing in the future. And now it's right here upon us. One of those things for me that I've noticed is people doing a lot of virtual weddings and doing, smaller weddings, but then adding in the, the advancements of technology to sort of bring a community of people together that's not able to get on a plane and come and be a part of their wedding. Have you guys had any sort of experience or with that so far?
Yes. That's definitely been a big. I've lost my sound with you.
Oh, have you? Oh,
There it is.
okay.
Back.
We back?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, Zoom's always crazy.
I
But
know.
but yeah. So you have seen some of that virtual wedding stuff being done at your space. What do you feel like? Do you have any sort of inclination or like feeling about like what the future might be with that?
I think it's going to be real popular even in the future, that whether, for those people that can't come to the weddings, they're going to do the Zoom. And with that being said, I also think that maybe numbers are going to be smaller than they used to be for quite a while because of that being something that people can do. So,
Right. Yeah. It seems like right now, no matter what side of the aisle you're on about this whole COVID thing, it just seems like the best solution. And also a lot of people, I think it is going to carry over. I think you're going to see a lot more people that maybe don't fly from San Francisco back to Atlanta for a wedding for a weekend. Say,
right.
I'll just be there virtually for you for like 4 hours,
Yeah.
and
See,
save.
that's what I think too.
Yeah, I actually think that that's going to become a thing over the next few years. And I'm actually really interested in um, some of the advancements in technology as it pertains to like entertainment and stuff. Like I'm really interested to see how the industry evolves virtually with that as well.
Hmm.
I wonder if there's the days of, a band bringing in all their gear and setting up and playing a wedding continues to happen, or, at some point does it start to transition to where it's almost like you turn on a big screen TV or like a projector with some speakers and there's a band in front of you and it becomes like this like total request live where people are typing in,
Yeah.
like play this song and, and they're like, all right, we'll play that song. Ready, band, let's go. And it's, there's a lot of advantages to both of those, or there's a lot of advantages to that one particular scenario for that reason. But, that's just something that I'm always find curious, like what the future of the industry looks like. Is there any
And
trends
I think you're right with even with DJs and stuff, because we've seen a lot more DJs that have, and I don't know exactly how they do. I want to say your phone, but I'm sure it's not the phone, but are doing electronically. And they can stand, I guess they have the wireless, so they can stand in one part of the house and, do the music that they want played. So, yeah, you wonder if it's going to be off site, some of them now, and just doing the music.
I mean, from an economical standpoint, wouldn't it be awesome if, we're talking about some crazy future stuff now. I didn't expect to go here, Pam. That's why I love this podcast. It just goes wherever it goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be a thing where your DJ is in Miami, and you just uplink to his feed, and then you're watching him on the feed, and he's interacting with you live.
It'll be interesting.
I mean, yeah, the world's crazy. I mean, just think about 15 years ago in this, this phone. I mean, 20 years ago, this was a dumb phone, it come out, that's how fast we've come in 20 years. Just blows my mind.
It does, I know.
So tell me, so when you bring somebody onto this property and you're showing them, what's the wow factor? What's the thing that you see that most bride and grooms really gravitate to from the start?
It's probably, like I say, the view that they get from here, as well as the mansion itself, because we have chandeliers in part of the mansion, so you can do it very elegant if you want. And then we have other sections of the house that aren't quite as elegant as some of them say. And so they can kind of, if they don't want it so elegant or formal, they can kind of downsize it. And then the biggest attraction right now that we have is our huge terrace that we have that leads right out from one of the main rooms. And so they can encompass both inside and outside right there, and everybody's still a part of it.
Mm. So is this a venue that people can, is there a sort of like a hotel aspect to this venue, or is it just more like a day of sort of thing? I mean, some people go to these venues and they can stay for the weekend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is just a day of. We don't have any rooms or boarding or anything like that.
Right. Okay. I couldn't quite tell that from whenever I looked at the website, so I wanted to make sure that I asked that for the people that's listening at home, because it is gorgeous and people need to check that out. I'm actually super partial to when you said the rose garden, that immediately made me think of my grandmother, and she had this huge rose garden, and you could pretty much walk through her yard. And it was you were in this experience of being around all these roses. I got to see this rose garden.
You need to come and visit. It's beautiful out there. There's statuary and pillars and stuff with it too, with the roses growing up and around it also.
Right. I mean, the experience of showing up every day and working in a place like that, I mean, you must feel like you're on top of the world every morning when you walk in, right? I mean, or does it just become sort of just a routine?
Some stuff becomes a routine, but it's also nice if you're stressed. If I'm having a real stressful day and stuff, I just go out back and walk for a little while, and then, it kind of refreshes you. You see all the gardens and the lake, and just, I mean, it's nice.
I mean, it's kind of like working in heaven for a day, right?
Yeah.
And it's accessible anytime you want it.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. With that being said, it is a huge property though too, and it's a lot of walking inside the house as well as outside. So.
Well, you get your steps in, so that's good, right?
I wish it worked.
Yeah. So how many square feet is it again?
It's 28,000 square feet. It's big.
Wow. Yeah, that's massive. And that's the property itself, or is that the building?
That's the building.
Wow.
It's a larger.
Yeah, that's a large building. That's a lot of steps from one side to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So you said things were picking back up post-COVID for you. How many events do you guys usually do a year there?
Usually we'll do about 75 events a year at least.
Hmm.
Um, now, the future, hopefully at least that, if not more. But
Right.
yeah,
Sure.
that's for all kinds of events from, I mean, we do a lot of Sweet 16s are very popular the last couple of years. So we do a lot of those, even memorial services. A lot of people come out here because just of the ambiance with the property and
Sure.
stuff. So we do every kind of event.
So sweet 16s, you're doing weddings, you're doing funerals, you're
Yeah,
doing
a lot of corporate events we do.
yeah, tell me about the corporate side of things that you guys do. Like, what are some of the things that you offer corporate clients that make them want to come to you?
Well, we have the breakout rooms as well as the outdoors. So a lot of corporate meetings that are possibly all day to get away from the office. They have a whole different ambiance with the building as well as the outdoors. And people can go walk out in the park or walk on the property whenever, they have breakout times. So that's probably the biggest draw with the corporate is the separate rooms that you can do and have, different events going on.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's the real trend these days in the corporate world is to get out of the office, go somewhere that's remote or go somewhere that's like away from distractions and or
Mm-hmm.
these normal distractions and really focus in on the team. And so I would imagine that a place like that would be very attractive for you and for them.
Yep. So,
Well, this has been awesome. Is there, as we start to close this out, I'd like to ask you a few questions that are personal,
okay.
that are more about you specifically. So, if people do call Vines Mansion, they'll be speaking with you about the property, right?
Yes.
So I want to make sure that everybody that's listening knows a little bit about you and gives a fuller picture as to who you are and how awesome you are because you just don't meet people that's been at a venue for 26 years very often.
Okay.
So let me ask you a few questions,
Mm-hmm.
and I promise they're PG, so you'll be all right. So, are you a beach girl or a mountain girl?
Beach girl.
Beach girl. You have a favorite beach?
I like both, but the beach, I love the water.
You like the water? Is there one particularly that like comes to mind immediately?
Well, Ponce Inlet down in Florida, we go there every year. My family, all get together, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, my children. There's like 26 of us, and we've been going for the last like 30 years.
Wow. Every
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
26
We all
people.
rent condos.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's fun. Yeah,
Now, where is that beach in Florida? Because I actually don't know that particular beach.
it's south of Daytona.
Okay, so it's on the east side there. That's cool.
Yes,
Um, yeah, all right. Very, very nice. Are you do you like sports at all?
I do. I like to walk. I like volleyball, and I mean, I like all kinds of sports
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Tell me some of your favorite teams.
Well, I don't know if it's mostly college ball and stuff like that. And it's because I have three sons. So I've been
Uh,
into football and stuff. So a lot of it's college. I have one son that graduated from Georgia Tech, and I have
uh-huh.
a son that graduated from Clemson. So there's always, controversy there.
Oh
But
yeah, that's an ACC matchup every year.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
Yeah,
but I like the college teams and
you like
stuff.
college more than pro. That's
Yeah,
cool. That's all right.
probably.
I'm more of a pro guy myself, but but I am partial to some college teams also. Do you have a go-to favorite food or restaurant?
Italian food's my favorite, and
Is it?
I'll eat Italian food almost anywhere. Yes,
Have you ever been to Italy?
I have. I
Yeah.
love Europe. I've been over there several times. Yes.
Oh, okay. You're a veteran.
Yes. My mother's actually English, and so when my children were small, we would go to Europe quite a bit. And then when my boys graduated from high school, that's what they wanted to do for their graduation present, was tour Europe. So we went all through Europe.
Ah, well, that's awesome.
I love
I mean,
traveling.
there's no better place to experience Italian food than in Italy, right?
Yeah. And it's different than here in the States, though.
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is. When you have an authentic Italian meal from someone who has, that's essentially, fresh from Italy, or had a
Hmm.
family that was from Italy that learned all the techniques, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
That is for sure. So, do you like coffee or do you like tea?
Neither. I like Diet Coke.
Whoa! I think the
Yeah.
first person that works in the wedding industry that I've met that does not like coffee or tea.
Yeah. I'm not a big one for either one.
Well, that's all right. If Diet Coke is your thing, then that's your thing.
Yeah. That's my coffee.
Um, are you a reader? Do you read any books or anything?
I do. I read quite a bit.
Okay, what was the last book you read?
Oh, I don't remember names. I'm terrible. I'm old. I don't remember the names of them all, but I, will usually read the back of the book to see if I've read it before and things like that. But I love everything from mysteries to, when I get tired of mysteries, I'll read a love story or
Oh, okay.
a true story, a book about a true story. So I'll read anything.
Well,
History is not one of my favorite, but
yeah, yeah. That's cool. I feel like I find myself just reading like marketing and advertising books all the time now, and I've never thought I'd be that person, but here I am. Um,
yeah.
it's funny. It's funny what you evolve into from the reader's perspective.
Oh, yes.
That's cool. I assume you might have a favorite band or somebody that you like to listen to? Like, you have a favorite genre of music?
Yeah, I'm kind of old, as you can say, with Elton John and
Yeah,
REO Speedwagon and all that kind of generation. But
yeah.
I mean, I like any kind of music I have on. The older stuff I like better, yes.
Right, sure. Yeah, I mean, they're the classics for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, I feel like that. I like REO Speedwagon. I dig them. Like, I also, you know, I like Yes and
Oh, yeah.
Electric Light Orchestra and all that stuff. Like
Yep.
I'm totally into that world.
I like those too. It depends the mood I'm in and what I listen to most. But yeah.
Oh, that's great. I feel like I'm getting to know you on a whole nother level. I felt like, I mean, I obviously have guitars all around me, so I
Yeah.
always have musical inclinations, and I kind of pegged you as like a rock and roll girl.
Yeah, I like rock and roll.
Do you have any sort of, this is a great time to let the world know. Do you have any sort of like hidden talents or things that you do well that maybe wouldn't be obvious to somebody that you know?
I don't know about that. I mean, I love crafts and I do a lot of woodworking and
Woodworking. Tell me about woodworking. What do you do with woodworking?
well, I just recently in the last couple of years have gotten into intarsia. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's
I have
kind of
no idea.
yeah, it's kind of making different things out, making like for instance the fish out of different kinds of woods and it's like a
Oh,
puzzle. You do it different pieces together, but it's forming a picture. And I enjoy that a lot. I don't get a lot of time to work on it, but I enjoy working on that. And then I love to sew. I have all kinds of crafts that I do.
wow. So go back and what was the word called again? Because I'm going to look this up again. It was
Intarsia.
intarsia. All right.
Yeah.
I got to become educated. My I've had many of my friends and family do woodworking, but like they're uh, you know, I don't know that I've ever heard that word come out of their mouth. So they must not be as advanced as you.
Well, it's kind of I don't know if it's advanced, but I guess it's kind of a dying industry because it takes a lot. And there's a lady that I actually learned it from who teaches it over in Tennessee up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a class from her and just have really liked it. So,
And to our final question. What is the best piece of advice that anyone has ever given you?
To enjoy life and spend time with family, because they're the ones that are always there, and just enjoy yourself. Don't stress and make your life terrible. You can make what bad into something good.
I love it. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. Everybody, give it up for Pam. She was awesome. And make sure you check out Vines Mansion with the link in this podcast and on YouTube. So thank you so much for being here and taking time to be with us, Pam. We appreciate you.
Thanks. I appreciate it too.
All right. We'll see you next time.